here again from the Bozeman Public Library Children's Room to do a fun family craft with you. You'll be able to get all the supplies, most of the supplies for this project from the library. All you need to do is give us a call, 582-2404, and say, I would love the pop-up card craft kit. And we will have it ready for you at our curbside delivery. And if you haven't done a bundle of books with our curbside delivery, all you do is give us a call and say, my kiddos are 3 and 5 and they love these types of books and they have these types of interests, and we'll pull together a big bundle of books for you to come pick up. So let's get started. So some of you might know what pop-up books are. This is one I have at home. It's called Encyclopedia Prehistorica Mega Beasts. And it is by Robert Sabuda and Matthew Reinhardt. Now, Robert Sabuda, he is the master of pop-up books. He's been doing it for years and years. So the pop-ups we're gonna make are more like pop-up cards. Ours won't be quite this complex, but it's just something fun for you to see. We do have pop-up books at our library, but we can't check them out because they often get damaged. But once we open back up to the public, you're welcome to come and look at them here. So here's our first Mega Beast pop-up. Whoa, look at his eye. Doesn't that look real? Look at that. How did he do that? He cut this all out of paper. And they're manufactured, but he first has to design these. And look at how amazing that is. Let's try another. Whoa, what is this? This looks like it has some of the skeleton of, what is this? Skeleton of, doesn't quite say, I don't want to take up all the time, but these are really complex pop-ups. But you'll see, they have all these different ways they're connected to the page, and then they fold up. Like I said, we won't do anything quite this complex. Look at that. That looks like some kind of dinosaur. See what's in here. Then he's got these little tiny ones. Oh my gosh, what's that one? It looks like an ape. And this one, that one looks like an ostrich. So you get the idea of what pop-up books are like. Should we do one more? I can just hear you on the other end. One more. Ooh, saber-tooth tiger. Arr, look at that. Arr. I think my favorite is the flying pterodactyl. Do you like that one? Look at how cool that is. So anyhow, we're gonna make a pop-up card, which is the very beginning steps of how I'm sure Robert Sabuda trained himself to do that amazing book. The first thing I thought would be fun, I made a happy spring card because I don't know about you, but I love springtime. I know it's a long ways off, but I made this little one that says happy spring, and then it opens, and look, there's a little 3-dimensional garden of flowers. I even put in some grass. Then at the bottom it says, let the sun shine and the flowers bloom. So you wouldn't have to make flowers for this. What's the important part is this real simple step here. You could put animals here instead of flowers. You could put your favorite sports. You could put ghosts, anything you want, and change the theme up. This one's really easy to make. You'd be surprised. So we're gonna learn how to make this one. And then also, if you have a bird lover in your family, or someone who's having a birthday soon, this is actually a template from Robert Sabuda, who did that book. You can find this on his website, but I'll also have it ready in your kit. So instead of saying birthday, I put happy bird day, and look when it opens up. Out comes a bird from his little house. And look, the bird has a little party hat, and then in his house, there's a little cupcake for somebody. And I made a little bit of a background. You can do whatever you want for yours. So that's a couple of ideas. I will have the supplies for you guys to make both of these in the kit. So we'll get set on the video and you can watch how to make these. All right, let's get started on this fun project. So with your kit, you'll get these 2 pieces of cardstock and you just cut them out, as you see me doing here. You'll notice that they have an A and a B. That's where we're gonna glue our bird. And I'm just making sure I got every last bit. You can cut off any of those lines so they don't show on your card. And then we're just going to quickly cut out this little bird house, being careful to stay on the lines. You'll notice that there's a little circle in the middle, and you might want to get an adult to help you with that part. But let's talk about this. So we're going to cut around the perimeter, that means the outside. Don't cut any of the interior lines. You'll see those dotted lines. We're going to fold on the dotted lines. So be real careful, just cut along the outside. And with pop-up books, you have to be pretty precise. Things are usually lined up very specifically so that the pop-up mechanism will work correctly. So just take your time, cut out all the details. I switched to my little detail scissors because I had to get in that real tiny spot. So just take your time. You have to get really careful in that little bit of the wing and just work your way around it. And then, there we go. I'm just going to cruise around the rest of that wing, and we'll just about have it cut out. Getting every little bit of detail. Okay, now back to that birdhouse circle. See how I just barely folded that and then I clipped it? You might get help from an adult on that part. It can be kind of tricky. So now I'm going to take the piece of cardstock that's our actual card with the A and the B. I'm going to fold where it's a dotted line. All those dotted lines, we're going to fold gently. It gets a little tricky getting that V fold that I just pointed out. So just take your time and only fold where there's a dotted line. You might need help just a smidge if you get confused on this. This is what makes the pop-up tuck in. Now something funny here, I did it backwards. And I was going to edit it out, but I wanted you to see what I did. So the bird should be on the other side. So the side that has the lines should be back, facing the back. So here I am, I'm going to pop it off. That's the wrong way. I pop it off, I re-glue, and there we go. Now it's the right way. Now, getting it to fold inward, you have to work a little on that little V-shaped fold, and just play around with it a little bit. The V should be like a funnel. See, I had to take quite a bit of time to mess around with that to get it to pop. But if you take a little time, you'll get that fold just right. Just follow the dotted lines for the fold. Now, I thought it would be fun to decorate. Now here, I grabbed my bird identification book and I was like, look at the beak of this bird. Look at the body shape. I want to find a bird that's similar. I also thought, I know that bluebirds love to be in little birdhouses. So I decided to do this little western bluebird. So I just kind of looked at the colors and the design on the eyes and just did it similar. And you'll know that I am not the best at drawing realistically, but I don't let that stop me. I just have a lot of fun playing around, and my card's going to be kind of whimsy and fun at the end. Now, if you don't want to color in your bird, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want with your bird and your birdhouse. It is up to you as the artist to decide, so have fun with that part. So I'm just going to color in my bird. I put in some feathers. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but when you see the finished product, maybe you can see it a little better. Now here I am just looking back at my bird identification book for reference to get the feathers right as I want them to be. Sorry about my hair there. It'll only block for a second. Alright, I'm going to finish up that, and then we'll do a little landscape. Okay, I think that bird looks fine. Now I'm going to make my birdhouse look kind of like old barn wood. So I just drew what looks like some wood, and I just kind of colored it in to make it look like old weathered barn wood. And I just trace around that little hole. You do whatever you want. You can paint it all one color if you want. And speaking of paint, I was using colored pencils, but you could do paint, you can do markers, just even black, whatever you'd like to do. Then I just thought I'd draw in a little bit of a background. I saw someone use this same template, and they drew a big tree, making it look like the birdhouse was sitting on the branch of a large tree. I just wanted to make it kind of look like a mountain scene, so I just threw in some trees and in the back some mountains, just to give it a little bit of depth in the background. Alright, now onto the front of my card. It's kind of a funny pun. I am saying happy bird day instead of happy birthday. I thought that was kind of funny. So you'll see I just did some outlining and doing little stripes and some funny polka dots maybe. Just to make it kind of look fun and whimsical. Then I had the idea, let's make my bird look like he's going to a birthday party. So I put on a little birthday party hat, and then I said, I'm going to make a cupcake for my birdhouse, and I was thinking that I would put it sitting in the birdhouse hole, but you'll see after I cut it out, oh, here I am making a candle. After I cut it out, it didn't quite fit the way I wanted it to. So let's see, I glue the little candle on the cupcake, and then I'm like, oh, it doesn't fit there. Oh, I don't like it there. Maybe the bird could pass it out. No, that doesn't work. So then I say, oh, I'll just put it on the front. So then I'm like, well, I'll make a little miniature cupcake. I wanted it to be just a little smaller to fit in that little birdhouse door. There's my second candle. And then I just clip and glue. And then I thought, well, you know what else? I'm going to need a platter for it to kind of sit on. So I finish up my cupcake, put a little bit of glue. If you have a glue stick, that works a little easier. I just didn't have one that wasn't dried up. So here I'm just making a little cake pedestal for it to sit on. So it looks kind of fun and formal. Cut that out. And then I'm probably going to glue my littlest cupcake to it. A little bit of detail, a little bit of glue, a little bit of color. And there it is. I think that looks so cute. So, glued it there. Hooray, hurrah. So cute. I'm going to test it and make sure it pops. Then I thought I wanted to first do like a birthday banner with the little pennants that say happy birthday, but I couldn't quite figure it out. I was writing out happy birthday and counted all the pennants I would have to make. And I was going to do that, but they're just too small and I couldn't get all the letters, so I bagged that idea. Then I thought, oh, I'll just make a little sign that says happy birthday. So, I'm measuring my sign a little bit there, and there, I think that fits well. Then I'm folding accordion style back and forth to make kind of a paper spring. Then I glue my little sign to it that says happy birthday, and it kind of stands out a little once it's glued on that little paper accordion spring. So you'll see how that'll look. It just looks a little bit, like a sign, kind of a 3D sign. The whole idea behind pop-up cards is to make them look three-dimensional. So there I am gluing on that little spring, and there, it kind of pops a little bit. So then I realized, oh no, it shows out the side of my card. So I scooted over, it's still showing. I said, I'll make it easy. Oh, cut here, cut there. There we have it, all done. I want to redo that border, and then let's glue our big cupcake on the front, and we're done. Happy birthday! And here's what it looks like. Peekaboo! That bird is so funny. He kind of has a sly little smile on his face, doesn't he? There's our little cupcake and our background. You do whatever you want with this bird pop-up. Let's move on to our second one. This is the spring pop-up card. So I put some cardstock in your package, your kit, and the outside is going to be the blue card. The inside is going to be the inside part. So I just measured a border. You see how I did that? You can use a ruler too if you want. It doesn't have to be exact, because then I'm going to cut it out in this fun shape. here I am. I'm using the center of the blue to fold it. There, see how that's going to be the inside of the card. Now here's the fun part. You're going to cut these little slits, and each set of slits is going to be your pop-up. So you unfold it, and then you have to carefully press these out to kind of make a little step. So that is the pop-up portion of your card. Now I chose to make like a spring flower scene because I cannot wait for spring. But you could do animals, you could do like African animals, or you could do basketballs, you could do insects, you could do funny emoji faces, whatever you want. And I just got some scrapbooking paper I had lying around and started to cut out some different flower shapes and just did whatever I thought would be fun. So I did a bunch of different shapes. I got a couple different types of paper so it looked a little more colorful. I kind of did a coordinating orange, pink, and green theme, but do whatever you want. And if you don't like the scrapbook paper that came with your kit, you can use white paper and draw your own designs on with marker or colored pencil or whatever you have at home. And then you're going to glue whatever you create onto those little folded steps, and you'll see here in a minute how it pops out. All right, we're just finishing up those little flowers, and now we're going to glue it onto the blue piece of cardstock. You might have got a different set in your kit, but glue whatever you chose for your outside card. And then I thought, oh, I want to make something else to make it have some dimension and some depth. So I glued that down, and I wanted to make a sun. Now, I hope you saw when I glued that down, I did not glue the steps, the little parts you cut off, because if you glue them down, you will not have a pop-up. So be very careful that you do not glue the pop-ups that you cut out. So there's my little sun, doing a little trim work. Then I thought, I'm going to make some grass. It didn't turn out exactly like I'd hoped, but it's still kind of fun. It adds a little bit more depth and some texture. So I just kind of folded that to match the perimeter there, and I should have cut it before I glued it down because it was a little tricky to cut those little blades of grass, but I think it works out okay. You can do whatever you want here. Maybe you did an African theme. You could do trees in the background. Then I'm going to do the front of the card, so I'm just measuring my paper to be the same size, and then I thought, I'm going to cut it out and make it kind of fun. I glue it down with my good old Elmer's glue, and then I got to thinking, what should I put on the front? What kind of card will this be? So I said, it looks so springy and bright, I'm just going to write on this green paper. I thought, well, I could use some stamps, I could use my stencil, I could just do whatever I wanted on the front. So I just decided to spell out Happy Spring. And I've got these handy little stencils. If you don't have stencils, you could do letters cut out of magazines and glued on. You could just freehand it with your markers, whatever you want to do. And just have fun with what you want to write on there. Maybe you're doing a safari themed card. You might put "Roar" on the front and then have a lion inside, whatever you'd like to do. So I got that figured out. I'm going to add an exclamation point, which is an eye upside down, because I didn't have one in my stencil. And then I'm just going to fill it in with a little bit of color and go from there. finally, I opened it up and thought, I want to write something in there. My stencils would be too big, so I just wrote, "Let the sun shine and the flowers bloom." This will help get me through the long winter. There we go. Thanks for watching. Please email me a picture of your awesome card design.